I was standing at the altar in my white dress when he turned to face the entire church and said the words that would shatter me. "I can't do this. I'm sorry, everyone, but I can't marry her." The room went completely silent. 200 people staring at me. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped my bouquet. It hit the floor with a soft thud that echoed through the church. My mind went blank. I couldn't process what was happening. This was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. I'd spent a year planning every single detail. The flowers, the music, the cake, everything. And now he was standing there in front of our families and friends telling everyone he didn't want me. My mother gasped from the front row. His mother covered her mouth with both hands. I just stood there frozen, unable to move, unable to breathe, unable to understand why this was happening to me. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments below and hit that like and subscribe button now. Your support means everything to me. If you've ever felt underestimated by your own people around you, you'll definitely want to stick around for what happened next. His name was Tyler. We'd been together for 4 years, high school sweethearts who everyone said were meant to be. He proposed to me on a beach at sunset with a ring his grandmother had given him. I said yes without hesitation. I loved him more than anything. I thought he loved me too, but standing there at that altar watching him avoid my eyes, I realized I didn't know him at all. "Tyler, what are you doing?" I whispered. My voice came out broken and small. He finally looked at me and I saw something cold in his expression, something I'd never seen before. "I'm sorry, Melissa, I just can't. You deserve better." He said it loud enough for everyone to hear, like he wanted them all to witness this, like he wanted them to see him walk away. Then he turned and walked down the aisle, just left me standing there alone in my wedding dress. People started whispering. Some stood up. I heard someone crying. Everything felt surreal. Like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. My maid of honor, Jamie, rushed up to me and grabbed my arm. Oh my God, Melissa, are you okay?" I couldn't answer. I couldn't form words. I just stared at the back of the church where Tyler had disappeared. Gone. He was just gone. Jamie tried to pull me toward the side exit, but I couldn't move. My legs felt like concrete. My father appeared beside me looking furious and heartbroken at the same time. "Come on, sweetheart. Let's get you out of here." He put his arm around me and guided me down the aisle. Every single person in that church watched me walk. I could feel their pity, their shock, their judgment. Some were taking pictures, actually taking pictures of my humiliation. I wanted to scream at them. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to rewind time and stop this from happening. But I couldn't. All I could do was walk and try not to collapse. We ended up in a small room behind the church. My bridesmaids crowded around me. My mother was sobbing. My father was on the phone yelling at someone, probably Tyler. Jamie kept asking if I needed water or if I wanted to sit down, but I just stood there staring at nothing. I felt completely empty, hollow, like someone had reached inside me and pulled out everything that mattered. "Why would he do that?" my mother kept saying through her tears. "Why would he humiliate you like that in front of everyone?" I didn't have an answer. I didn't understand it either. If he didn't want to marry me, he could have told me privately. He could have called off the wedding before we got to the church, but he chose to do it there, in front of everyone, like he wanted to make sure I felt as small as possible, like he wanted to destroy me publicly. And it worked. I felt destroyed. The reception venue had to be canceled. The food, the DJ, the cake, everything. My father handled most of it while I sat in that room unable to move. Jamie stayed with me the entire time. She didn't say much. She just sat beside me holding my hand. Hours passed. Eventually, someone brought me regular clothes to change into. I took off the wedding dress and left it in a heap on the floor. I never wanted to see it again. When we finally left the church, it was dark outside. My father drove me back to the apartment Tyler and I had shared. The apartment that was supposed to be our home. Jamie came with me. She said she wasn't leaving me alone tonight. I was grateful. I didn't want to be alone. When we walked inside, everything looked the same, but it felt different. Cold, empty. Like the life I'd built there had been erased in a single moment. Tyler's things were still everywhere. His jackets in the closet, his shoes by the door, his coffee mug in the sink. It made me sick. Jamie started packing his stuff into garbage bags without asking. She moved through the apartment with quiet fury, throwing his belongings into bags like they were contaminated. I sat on the couch and watched her. I still couldn't cry. I wanted to, I felt like I should, but the tears wouldn't come. I was too numb, too shocked. My phone kept buzzing with messages. People asking what happened, people offering sympathy, people probably gossiping. I turned it off. I couldn't deal with any of it. Jamie finished packing Tyler's things and piled the bags by the door. "He can come get these whenever," she said. "And if he doesn't, I'm throwing them in the dumpster." I nodded. I didn't care what happened to his stuff. I didn't care about anything. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying everything in my mind, trying to find clues I'd missed, signs that he was planning to do this. But there was nothing. He'd seemed normal the week before the wedding, happy even. We'd laughed together, made plans for our honeymoon, talked about our future. Had he been lying the whole time? Had he been planning this humiliation all along? The thought made me feel sick. Jamie slept on the couch. I could hear her moving around a few times during the night, checking on me. When morning came, I still hadn't slept. My eyes burned. My head ached. My body felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Jamie made coffee and brought me a cup. "You need to eat something," she said gently. I shook my head. The thought of food made me nauseous. She didn't push. She just sat with me in silence. By the second day, the humiliation really started to sink in. Everyone knew what happened. Everyone had seen it. My phone was filled with messages I refused to read. Social media was probably exploding with the story. The girl who got left at the altar. The girl whose fiancé walked out in front of everyone. I felt like a joke. Like my pain was entertainment for people. Jamie finally convinced me to eat some toast. I managed a few bites before I felt sick again. "You need to leave this apartment," she said. "You can stay with me for a while, get away from his stuff and the memories." Part of me wanted to say yes, but another part of me refused to be driven out of my own home. This was my apartment too. I paid half the rent. Why should I leave? Tyler was the one who destroyed everything. He should be the one to go, so I stayed, even though everything reminded me of him. On the third day, Tyler finally texted me. Just a simple message that said, "I'm sorry, can we talk?" I stared at those words, feeling rage build inside me for the first time since the wedding. Sorry, he was sorry. That was supposed to make everything okay. That was supposed to erase the fact that he humiliated me in front of everyone I knew. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. Instead, I typed back, "No." He responded immediately. "Please, Melissa, I need to explain." Explain what exactly? How he decided to destroy me publicly instead of being a decent human being? I didn't respond. I blocked his number. Jumma saw my face and asked what happened. I told her. She looked proud. "Good," she said. "He doesn't deserve a conversation. He doesn't deserve anything from you." She was right. But part of me still wanted answers, still wanted to understand why. A week passed. Then, too, I went back to work even though I wasn't ready. People stared at me, whispered when they thought I wasn't listening. My boss pulled me aside and asked if I needed more time off. I said no. I needed the distraction. I needed to feel normal even if I wasn't, but nothing felt normal. I moved through my days like a ghost, going through the motions but not really living. At night, I'd come home to the apartment and sit in silence. Jumma checked on me every day. My parents called constantly. Everyone was worried. But I didn't know how to tell them I wasn't okay, that I didn't know if I'd ever be okay again. Tyler tried to reach out a few more times through mutual friends. I ignored all of it. I had nothing to say to him. Nothing he could say would make this better. The damage was done. Then something changed. I was scrolling through social media one night even though I knew I shouldn't. And I saw a picture, Tyler with another woman. They were at a restaurant. She was laughing. He was smiling. The photo was posted 3 days ago. 3 days, it hadn't even been a month since he left me at the altar and he was already out with someone else. My hands started shaking. I clicked on the woman's profile. Her name was Kulla. She looked young. Maybe 22 or 23. Pretty. Blonda. Everything I wasn't. I scrolled through her photos. There were more pictures of her and Tyler, some from weeks ago, some from before the wedding. My stomach dropped. He'd been seeing her while we were engaged, while I was planning our wedding. While I was picking out flowers and tasting cake, he was with her, this whole time. The humiliation I felt multiplied by 1,000. I called Jumma immediately. She answered on the first ring. "He was cheating on me," I said. My voice was shaking with anger. "The whole time he was with someone else." Jumma was quiet for a second, then she said, "That piece of garbage, I'm coming over." She showed up 20 minutes later with wine and fury in her eyes. We sat on my couch and I showed her the pictures. She looked at each one with disgust. "So he left you at the altar because of her," she said. "He embarrassed you in front of everyone because he was having an affair." I nodded. The pieces were starting to fit together now. He didn't just wake up that day and decide he couldn't marry me. He'd been planning this. He'd been with Kulla and decided she was what he wanted. And instead of being honest with me, he chose to humiliate me publicly. To make me look like a fool. I felt sick. For the first time since the wedding, I cried. Really cried. Not quiet tears, but full body sobs that shook me from the inside out. Gemma held me and let me fall apart. All the pain I'd been holding in came flooding out. The betrayal, the humiliation, the heartbreak, everything. I cried for the life I thought I was going to have. I cried for the man I thought Tyler was. I cried for the version of myself who had trusted him completely. When I finally stopped, I felt drained, empty. But also something else. Anger. Real hot, burning anger. Tyler had humiliated me, hurt me, destroyed me. And he was out there living his best life with his mistress like nothing happened. Like I didn't matter. Like what he did to me was just a minor inconvenience. No, I wasn't going to let him get away with that. I wasn't going to stay broken while he moved on. I was going to do something. I spent the next few days planning, thinking, figuring out exactly how I wanted to handle this. I wasn't going to stoop to his level. I wasn't going to be cruel or petty, but I also wasn't going to stay silent. I wasn't going to let him control the narrative. People needed to know the truth. They needed to know he didn't just get cold feet. He cheated. He lied. He destroyed me on purpose, so I decided to post. Not a long rant, not a sob story, just the truth. Simple and clear. I wrote out a statement explaining what happened. That Tyler had been having an affair. That he chose to leave me at the altar instead of being honest. That I deserved better. I attached screenshots of the photos of him and Kulla from before the wedding. Proof that this wasn't a new relationship. Then I posted it on every social media platform I had. And I waited. The response was immediate. Within an hour, my post had been shared hundreds of times. People were commenting, expressing support and outrage. Friends I hadn't heard from in years reached out to tell me they were sorry. Strangers messaged me saying Tyler was a coward. The post went viral in my city. Everyone was talking about it. Tyler's phone must have been blowing up because within 2 hours he tried to call me from a different number. I didn't answer. His mother called me. I didn't answer. Kulla sent me a message saying I was being dramatic and that Tyler loved her. I blocked her. Gemma called me laughing. "Girl, you broke the internet," she said. "Everyone's on your side. Tyler looks like the biggest jerk in the world right now." Good. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted people to know the truth. I wanted him to feel even a fraction of the humiliation he put me through. The best part came a few days later. Tyler worked at a big marketing firm downtown, a company that prided itself on image and reputation. Apparently my post had made its way to his kakas and his boss. Gemma sent me a screenshot of a comment from someone claiming to work with Tyler. It said, "Update for everyone following this story. Tyler just got fired. Company doesn't want to be associated with someone who publicly humiliated his fiancé like that. Karma is real." I stared at that comment for a long time. He got fired because of what he did to me. Because the truth came out, I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel bad. I felt vindicated. He thought he could destroy me and walk away with no consequences, but actions have consequences, and his were finally catching up to him. I wasn't the one who got him fired. His own choices did that. I just told the truth. Tyler tried to reach me again after he lost his job, this time through his friend who I used to be close with. The friend called and said Tyler was sorry, that he made a huge mistake, that he wanted to apologize properly. I laughed, actually laughed out loud. "Tell Tyler that his apology means nothing to me," I said. "Tell him he made his choice when he walked out of that church, and tell him to leave me alone." The friend tried to argue, tried to say Tyler was going through a hard time. I cut him off. "A hard time? He cheated on me. He humiliated me in front of everyone I love. And now he's upset because people know the truth? That's not my problem, that's his." I hung up. I was done being the victim, done being the girl who got left at the altar. I was moving forward, and Tyler wasn't part of that. Things started getting better after that, slowly but surely. I threw myself into work and actually started enjoying it again. I reconnected with old friends. I picked up hobbies I'd abandoned while planning the wedding. I started going to the gym, taking care of myself, rebuilding the parts of me that Tyler had broken. My apartment didn't feel haunted anymore. It felt like mine. I redecorated, changed things, made it a space that reflected who I was now, not who I was with him. Jamie was proud of me. My parents were relieved. Everyone could see I was healing. And I was. For the first time in months, I felt like myself again, stronger even. I'd survived something I didn't think I could survive, and I came out the other side better. That meant something. That meant everything. A few months later, I heard through mutual friends that Tyler and Kayla had broken up. Apparently, she cheated on him with someone else. The irony wasn't lost on me. What goes around comes around. Tyler was apparently devastated, jobless, single, living with his parents. Everything had fallen apart for him. Part of me felt a tiny bit of sympathy, but most of me felt nothing. He wasn't my problem anymore. He wasn't my concern. He was just a person I used to know who made terrible choices. I ran into him once at a grocery store. He saw me and froze. I just nodded politely and kept walking. I didn't owe him a conversation. I didn't owe him anything. He looked rough, tired, broken, but that wasn't my fault. He did that to himself. I walked out of that store with my head held high, feeling completely free of him. I started dating again about 6 months after the wedding disaster. Nothing serious at first, just coffee dates and casual dinners, getting to know new people, remembering what it felt like to be wanted and appreciated. It was scary at first, trusting someone new after what Tyler did, but I took it slow. I was honest about my past, about what happened. Most people were understanding, respectful, kind. And eventually I met someone who made me feel safe. His name was Antonio. He was patient and funny and didn't push me to move faster than I was ready. We took our time, built something real, something based on honesty and respect. Everything my relationship with Tyler wasn't. Antonio knew my story. He'd actually seen my viral post before we met, but he didn't treat me like a victim. He treated me like a person, like someone worth knowing, worth loving. That made all the difference. A year after the failed wedding, I was in a completely different place. Happy, healthy, in love with someone who actually deserved me. I'd been promoted at work. I had my own apartment that I loved. I had friends who supported me. I had a life I was proud of. Tyler had tried to destroy me that day in the church. He'd tried to break me down and make me feel worthless, but instead he'd set me free. Free from a relationship that was built on lies. Free from a future that would have been miserable. Free to find something better, something real. I wasn't grateful for what he did. I wouldn't wish that pain on anyone. But I was grateful for where it led me, for who I became because of it. Stronger, wiser, more sure of my own worth. I thought about reaching out to Tyler once, just to tell him I forgave him, not because he deserved it, but because I didn't want to carry anger anymore. But I decided against it. He didn't need my forgiveness. He needed to live with his choices, and I needed to keep moving forward without looking back. Forgiveness didn't require a conversation. It just required me letting go, and I had. Completely. Tyler was part of my past, a painful chapter that taught me important lessons. But he wasn't part of my future. Antonio was, my career was, my happiness was. That's what mattered now. Not what happened a year ago, not the humiliation or the betrayal, just what I chose to do next. And I chose to be happy. I chose to thrive. I chose to never let anyone make me feel small again. Looking back now, I can see clearly what I couldn't see then. Tyler leaving me at the altar wasn't about me. It was about him, his cowardice, his selfishness, his inability to be honest. I spent so much time wondering what was wrong with me, what I did to deserve that. But the truth is I didn't do anything wrong. I was a good partner. I loved him. I was loyal. The problem was never me. It was always him. And realizing that set me free in ways I can't even explain. I stopped blaming myself, stopped wondering if I could have done something different, because there was nothing I could have done. Some people are just broken, and you can't fix them. You can only protect yourself from them, and that's what I did. I protected my peace, my future, my heart. I've learned so much from this experience. I've learned that public humiliation doesn't define you unless you let it. I've learned that speaking your truth has power even when it's scary. I've learned that healing isn't linear, and that's okay. I've learned that the right person won't make you question your worth. They'll remind you of it every single day. I've learned that revenge doesn't have to be cruel. Sometimes revenge is just living well, being happy, thriving when someone expected you to fall apart. That's the best kind of revenge. The kind that doesn't hurt anyone but proves you're stronger than they thought. Tyler thought leaving me at that altar would destroy me. Instead, it rebuilt me. And for that, I almost want to thank him. Almost, but not quite, because I did this. I survived. I healed. I chose to be better. That was all me. So here's what I want to ask you. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted completely? Have you ever felt humiliated and broken and like you'd never recover? If you have, I need you to know something. You will recover. You will heal. You will be okay. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. And when you do, you'll be stronger than you ever were before. Don't let someone else's cruelty define your story. Don't let their actions make you believe you're not worthy of love and respect. You are. You always were. They just couldn't see it. But someone else will. And when they do, you'll understand why it never worked out with the person who hurt you. Thank you so much for listening to my story. For sticking with me until the very end. If this resonated with you, drop a comment and let me know. Share your own experience. Let's lift each other up. And if you want to hear more real stories like this, check out King's Revenge Vault. We're all in this together. Take care of yourselves. You deserve it.